Yeah. Today our topic is NAT, Network Address Translation. Here the requirement for if you want to communicate at your branch location to ISP, if you want to communicate at your branch location to internet service provider, like your network is there, this is one your LAN, and LAN is connected some end host and users. Can anyone tell before that what is the difference between public IP and private IP? What are the difference between public IP and private IP?
Private IP is that we can use, but for using the public IP, we need to buy from the IANA.
Public IP we should have to buy from IANA.
Private IP within same service providers. Public IP is between multiple service providers.
Okay. Can you tell me the ranges of IP addresses?
Public 1264512 and private is 64513265535.
Wait. Class A range is from
Class A is from 0 to
1 to 126.
fine. And class B?
128 to 191. And class C 192 to 223.
Class C range is
192 to
192
223.
to 223.
fine. And what about class D?
224 to 239.
Two?
39.
39.
Fine.
240 to 255E.
2?
55 to 55.
Fine. This is our classes range. And then anyone tell me these all are the classes range. And what about the private IP ranges?
Six four five one three two 65535.
Class A range. Private IP. I'm asking about private IP. Private IP range. I'm asking about private IP range. Class A range is have you remember?
Like IP address, you are asking 10.0.0.
Two?
Like 172.31.255.
These are the private IP ranges. If 192.168.0.02 and the range
192.168 to 255.255.
these are the classes for the private IP. And what is the main difference private IP and public IP. Extension of this IP addresses all are the public IP addresses. Okay. So what is the difference are there? And public IP and private IP. The main difference is private IPs will use at our LAN side. Okay, this is our LAN side we'll use, and private IP addresses cannot routable at internet towards internet ISP. But we have a public IP ranges, whichever the public IP address is there. Apart from this, those are the public IP addresses. Okay, public IP addresses. These are the private IP addresses. Okay, these IP addresses, whichever private IP address is there, it will be not routable to internet. This is your branch router R1, and you can assume like this one switch. So we required if I want to communicate at different location, my data center is there. This is my data center. In this data center, I have a servers. In this server, some abc.com application is there, something is there. So I should have to communicate via internet. So we need to configure NAT. Again, in NAT, we have three types. One is for static NAT, and dynamic NAT, and port address translation. Port address translation. We have three types are there. This is a PAT. So we'll check here one by one. What is the static? In static IP address, like how many end users are there? If you have here multiple thousands users are there, or 100 users are there, 100 hosts are there. So each host required for public IP address. For example, you have a for one host is there. That host having 192.168.1.1 IP address. So if I want to configure through via internet to communicate a different location, so here I am using as a static NAT. Then I need a one public IP for this. So if different, again one more host is there, that is 192.168.1.2. So I need again one IP address for him. This is a public IP addresses. If you have again one more host, 192.168.1.3, so you need again one more host. The static IP address. If you have multiple dash, how many you have, those many IP addresses you require, like host 100, 192.168.1.100. So I need again one more public IP for him. Likewise, the statically we are giving the IP address. Static are there. So nowadays we are not using, but some cases we are using. Like if you have a different location, one server is there. So for that server will configure as a static IP address for him. If firewall is there, this is you can assume here we have a firewall. So I should have to deny some traffic or permit traffic. I should have to monitor end user what they are using the application. So we need a static IP for him if I can configure. So these are the static NAT, and we have a different one, dynamic NAT. Yes, same thing. Dynamically, we will create the one pool. In that pool, we'll assign the subnet mask with subnet mask. Automatically, they will take the IP address. Nowadays, we are not using this one and this one, but we are using as a PAT, port address translation. Okay, in this port address translation, for if I have multiple users, you can assume 100 user are also same here, same IP address. In this case, I'll use as like one only for him and one only. In this case, it will be add some port number, like random port number, it will be add 10, 20, 30, it will be add likewise 40. But here I am using same IP addresses for this also. At PAT, I am reducing the public IP whichever we required. But in statically, if I have 100 end host, so there I should have to configure each and every host the same different IP addresses. But now coming to dynamic also, there I'll create the pool, it will take automatically. There also same thing. Statically. We are assigning this some pool. In that pool, it will be selected. We'll check in lab, don't worry. And but in PAT case is there, the PAT case only one public IP is sufficient for all the users. One public IP is sufficient for the all the users. If you have 1,000 hosts, how many hosts, that is not a point here. How many hosts you have, those things that's sufficient for the PAT. Only one IP address of public IP address is sufficient. Understood? This is about NAT concept. The requirement for the NAT will check. I have some PDF. See, NAT is the method of translation of private IP address into public IP address. Okay, it will be translate like a private IP to public IP, not only for private IP to public IP, it will be used like a private IP to private IP also. Those different cases, and public to public also will do the NAT. Okay. In order to communicate with internet, we must have register public IP address. So if I want to communicate any internet, so I need to register one IP address through IANA, Internet Number Assigned Authority. Internet Assigned Number Authority, I should have to take from IANA. The public IP address I should have to buy. If small organization, ISP will be provided. If my large organization, large company, then I'll buy from IANA. Otherwise, no issue, ISP will be provided. Fine. And these all are about the NAT. If do you have any questions till what we discussed? And guys, see, the main concept of NAT is it will be convert private IP to public IP. Once we do the lab, then you will understand. The common devices that can perform address translation include firewall, routers, servers that we discussed. For we have a static NAT for them, for will assign the one IP address to, for that, for security reasons. And there we have a like private ranges, these things, those are not routable. List of situation best having NAT your side. You can connect the internet and your host don't have globally unique IP address. If we don't have global IP address, then we need a like public IP. So that host will provide, that is ISP will provide, and you change to a new ISP that require you remember your network, whichever, if we have like multiple ISPs, for redundancy purpose we are using like two ISPs here. In this case, we should have to know the whichever IP address they are provided to us. You need to merge two internets with duplicate addresses. If I the at a time, if I want to load balancing traffic at merge the two internet, so we should have to flow our traffic that whichever we required. These are the advantages and these are the disadvantages. And here we have a types of NAT and where we'll use inside, outside, we'll discuss in lab. This is a static NAT, and this type of NAT is designed to allow one-to-one mapping between local and global addresses. One-to-one IP address, like we discussed here, one-to-one IP address. Like one, this is a host is one and public IP also one, and host 1, 2, 3. If we have up to 100 user, one-to-one communication it will be happen with the static NAT. Keep in mind that static version required you to have one real internet IP address for the every host on the your network. See, if you want to communicate at one particular host, he need a one private IP address, public IP address. Sorry, he need a one private IP address. They private to public IP address, like internet IP address. Then only he can communicate at a different location. This is a syntax how we'll configure it. These are the dynamic NAT, one-to-one only here also mapping, and the PAT is there. There we'll configure with overlap, overload. Overload is whenever you are using, that is you can assume like there you have configured like PAT. Guys, do you have any questions in NAT? There we have mainly three types. We'll discuss in lab one by one. Guys, do you have any questions till now? Can anyone tell me what is the requirement for the NAT?
Communicate to the internet and we need some public address, then we use NAT.
Sorry, pardon.
If we want to communicate it to the internet, then we need a public address. So for that we will be using NAT.
Fine. See, I'm taking here the static NAT configuration here. Here, what we'll do, one-to-one. It means one-to-one communication will be happening in static NAT. I'm taking here different host. Apart from that, I'll use here two servers. See, it in the NAT majorly will use as a port, but we have to know how we'll configure everything for statically how we are configuring. So here I'm giving the IP assigning. See here I am taking as a which IP address, private IP address I am taking here 1.1 and 24, and here I am taking public IP address. These are the different location, and I have to communicate at different location, that is like Google server or some Facebook server. Here I'm using in between. This is assigned to me some public IP. This ISP guys provided me one IP address, that is public IP 12.1.1.1/24. Now assigning the IP address, for these PCs I'm giving the IP addresses IP config 192.168.1.2 IP address for this, and gateway 192.168.1.1. And this PC is 4. This PC is 5, and gateway is 192.168.1.1. Guys, you are doing labs, right? All of you start practicing lab. If you have any doubts in lab, just ask me. For this server, I am taking IP address 200.1.1.2. This 3, and this is the end host for 4. Now, how I assign the IP address here? Practically, I'm assigning the IP address. Now router configuration and switch, no need to do any configuration. Check here in this router, no enable config terminal. I'm assigning the IP address for this interface fast Ethernet 0/1, interface fast Ethernet 0/1, and IP address is 192.168.1.1 and 255.255.255.0 is subnet mask. No shutdown. And towards internet IP address is interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and IP address is 12.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Exit. For this router, I have assigned the IP addresses only, and this router I am assigning. So enable config interface fast Ethernet 0x0. IP address is 12.1.1.2 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Exit and interface fast Ethernet 0x1. IP address is exit. Now check here. I have assigned the IP addresses here. Now we'll check the reachability from this interface to this ping, verifying the reachability. So up to here, any doubts? Just I have assigned the IP addresses. So IP interface brief. You can check here. Only I have assigned the fast Ethernet 0x0. IP address is this one, and this is the fast Ethernet 0x1. I'll make a reachability. The LAN also, if I want to make a reachability, so I should have to take any routing protocols. Like I'll take here now default routing config T and IP route 0.0.0.0 and subnet mask 0.0.0 and next hop IP address of this one 12.1.1.2. and for this interface config T Any doubts, guys? So anyone tell me the next hop IP address, which one I should have to take here for this route?
12.1.1.1.
Fine. Check here, show IP route. Yes, we have a reachability for this. You can check from here also. In 200.1.1.2. The reachability is there. For this route also, this server and some end host also. We'll try from this route. Can anyone tell me the ISP guys can ping to my LAN interfaces that is secure or not? It will be secure if I am pinging my LAN. Some other guy is sitting here. It is like he's a hacker. He's trying to ping my private IP addresses. If some server is there, the server is connected here. Some server is connected here. In this server, my organization information is there. So he's trying to access some server is there. in the server our valuable information is there. So if he is trying to ping, like this one is, you can assume this one is server. 1.2. He can access my server. It is secure or not? The network is secure. The other guy, this hacker is, you can assume like this one is a hacker PC, is accessing my internet through internet, my LAN local area network. In
So
this,
if we access, that's not safe.
this is not safe, right? So I can access this FB server, Google server, or any outside, but outside guys don't want to access my local area network. Understood? So here my task is like, these guys don't want to access my local area network, this IP address, this gateway. They don't want to access. If they access the gateway means they can access my entire network. They can access my entire network. If there is my valuable server is there, in that valuable server, I have more information, right? Like related to my bank information. This is a, you can assume like this is a branch router, whichever bank information like SBI branch. If they are accessing, they can access entire, whichever the users are there, bank users, they can access the entire user information. So I should have to deny this kind of traffic.
Access controllers.
With access controller, it is possible, but we have a concept like NAT, right? I cannot routable through this information. Understood? If I have not applied in this router NAT, so I cannot able to access this. We'll apply ACL also in this lab, but I'm showing the scenario is likewise. Now these guys are accessing entire network. You can check the other interfaces also. The 0.1 he can access, and 1.3 this host also he can reachable. So this is not secure to us. So what I will do in this router, I'll remove the default gateway. Sorry, in this router, I'll remove the default gateway. Once I'll enable the default gateway, then he can access. But in this router, it's fine because this is my LAN router. I can access entire, if I unknown IP address also I can access. So I'll configure in real time also. We'll configure here default routing only. Default routing only. Will configure here default routing only, but whenever the reverse traffic is there, will not configure the default routing. Whichever the IP address is ISP guys provided, this ISP guys provided to me, I'll configure those things only. I'll not give my entire LAN information to this router. No, I will not give the entire information. So I'll configure here. I'll remove this static interface. So config T and no. Just I'm removing 1.2.1.1.1. This static interface I'm removing. Now just do show IP interface brief. Route. See, I have removed and again try to ping. Now destination host is unreachable. Through this router is giving the reply. Whichever you are trying to ping, the destination host is unreachable. Now good. We can not access our gateway also. So from here also you cannot access now because of reverse path is not there. Because of reverse path is not there. So what we'll do, we'll configure here IP route I am taking as a IP address for this here, that is 50.1.1.0/24 in this range. Statically I am configuring, so I am taking, this is the public IP address pool ISP guys provided me. T.1.1.0 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and next hop IP address 12.1.1.1. Then check here, so IP route. We have a static IP address. Now also you cannot access because we haven't assigned the till NAT, we haven't applied here. So we'll apply the NAT at our router. They provided me one static IP address. The range is this one. So with this range, I should have to utilize and give for one interface for him one IP address 2, 3, 4, likewise. So what I'll do for static NATing, then inside I'll take, because the inside address translation, I am doing the inside address translation. Inside and source, which source IP address is source is 192.168.1.1. I'll assign 1 to 1 NATing 192.168.1.2 and statically I am giving, statically I am specify static local or global mapping and which IP address 192.168.1.2. Then here global IP address, inside the global IP address, whichever the global IP address is there, that is mine inside only. You can assume here 50.1.1. For one for this PC, I'll take from 2 only. It is better to for 192.168.1.2 for this 2 here and that much only. And 3, the user of 3 for 3. Again, the user for 3 for him, I am taking as a 3 for this range. And 4, the host is 4. And I am taking the host IP address also 4. Public IP address. This is done. This is only for this do what I configured here. You can check here. Just I have assigned the NAT for inside source IP address, that is statically I am assigning. My inside IP address, this one I am assigning source for this, and statically I am assigning for this host the IP address of NAT. Public IP address is this one 50.1.1.3. This is a one-line configuration for one host. If you have 100 user, then you should have to configure each and every line. So running configuration, see, if you have 100 users, same thing you should have to configure. If you have 1000 user, if you have to configure likewise. But this many IP addresses we don't have. The wastage of our IP address. If we have like server IP addresses, then we can assign for only one server for that it is possible, where we'll configure only for servers and firewall. For this statically will configure, and Now for implementation, our statically we are created the NAT. Now we are implementing this one is whichever the traffic is originating. This is your inside LAN and this is your outside the towards ISP. This is towards your LAN. This is towards your LAN. This is towards your ISP. We should have to assign it every port inside and outside. We should have to inform to them. You are the whichever configuration is there. We should have assigned interface. This is the global configuration. What we did, this is the global configuration. Now I am assigning the interface configuration. Interface fast Ethernet 0/1 and IP address is IP NAT. Which side? This interface is inside. So inside interface for the address translation. I'll take inside only. That much. And exit. And for this interface, this is the outside interface. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0 and IP NAT. For outside, I am taking outside interface, outside translation towards ISP. That much only. Now try to ping. Earlier, they have not communicate here. Now before that, we'll check the store IP NAT translation. This is the troubleshooting command. Translation. See, we haven't originate any traffic, but you can check here. One-to-one mapping is there. We created one-to-one mapping here with this command. So running configuration. We did a one-to-one mapping for this interface. You are the public IP. For this interface, you are the public IP. We assigned likewise. So that is what here showing. Show pin NAT. If originate some traffic, HTTP or UDP, any traffic, then you will get the whichever traffic you originated. I'll try to ping from here.
Just a second. Previously we assigned for the fast Ethernet 0/0 the outside one, right?
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
is outside.
But it wasn't showing in that the local or outside global one.
See. Wait. Inside global IP address, who assigned to us this IP addresses to us?
Public
ISP. ISP guys are provided this IP address. This is the series of hours only. So that is the reason it is showing inside global. I told you inside local address, inside global IP address. Name of inside host after translation public IP address. Whichever the public IP address is there, that who assigned to us public ISP guys provided us. These are the our IP addresses, private IP addresses, and these are the outside local addresses. Once you originate the traffic, then you will get these destination host and destination host after translation. Once you originate some traffic, then you will get this. Now we haven't get anything. If show statistic, we haven't originate any traffic, and statically we assigned 3 IP addresses. Here showing statically we have a 3 IP addresses, and dynamic nothing is there. We haven't originate any traffic. So once you originate, there you will get the some information. That is the reason 0/0 is showing. How we will originate traffic? Just will use the ping command. Earlier we cannot able to ping. Before that, we'll ping from this host. This user wants to communicate, this hacker wants to communicate our network. We'll try to ping this IP address. See, again, still destination host is unreachable. Destination host is unreachable. We'll try to from here ping the same IP address. Yes, we can able to reachable. This is ICMP packet. ICMP packet. So, see, 4 ICMP packets originated. Whenever you are ping with the help of Windows server, then it will be ping up to 4 packets. So you got here 4 packet information. 50 dot the host we assigned for him inside global, that is 1.2, that they have taken. This is a port number, different port. Through the each packet it will be transfer, and this is our local area network, and these are the outside local and outside global. These are the outside the IP addresses. We'll try to originate some web traffic through this one. Will originate some web traffic. Web traffic, it will be comes under TCP. HTTP will work on port number 80, that is TCP based traffic. 200.1.1.2. Yes, we can able to reach. We'll check here. The TCP traffic is originated this host, and this host is originated some TCP traffic, and that through one-to-one mapping is done here. So this is a global IP address of global port number is 80 and port number is 80. HTTP port number is 80. Again, we'll try to HTTPS. Just keep it here. S. HTTP port number is HTTPS port number. Guys, anyone can answer it. HTTPS port number.
6.
Sorry?
443.
Yes, good. See, 443 port number, and this is our locally originated some traffic. Now we'll try to ping. We haven't assigned for him any NAT. We have not assigned for this host. Still, we have configured it, but we haven't assigned the NAT. We'll try to ping for verification part. Ping 192.168. 200.1.1.2. So we haven't assigned, we cannot able to ping that packet. So try to here for this PC, we have assigned for him the 192.168.1.4. for assign the public IP address is 50.1.1.4. Ping. Yes, we can able to ping, and we'll check the web also. Web browser will originate some HTTP traffic. as usual. That is problem 1.1.3. By default HTTP and S. We'll check now from here. We originated a lot of traffic. Show IP NAT translation. See 443 80 443. This is all about the NAT. Statically we configure NAT. So IP NAT statistic. There you can check how many packets, how many you assigned dynamical, or whichever the packet you assigned, where you assigned, you can check how many hits you did. 32 hits. Misses and 12. 4 are the expired. These are all are about the statically within NAT. Do you have any questions? These are the two troubleshooting commands. Your NAT is working or not. If you want to check more, show running configuration, whichever you did the NAT, you can check type section NAT. This is all about our NAT we did. These all are the configuration part. Guys, do you have any questions till what we discussed? I've given you in the chat. You can take that. We'll try to do the dynamic NAT. No, if you don't have any queries, we'll start dynamic NAT. Here, what we'll do dynamically, we'll configure one pool. We'll create one IP pool. In that pool, we'll assign the IP addresses like full of, if we have like 255 IP addresses, then we'll assign the IP addresses. We'll create likewise. Before that, we'll create a ACLs on that. And do you have any queries in static NATs?
No.
Fine.